Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how I make my vegan sourdough discard cinnamon rolls. Take a third a cup of plant milk. You can use whatever plant milk you like. I'm using almond milk, and we are going to warm this up in the microwave. You can use room temp, it doesn't really matter. We don't want it to be scalding, just warm, like bath water warm. Also going to melt a half a stick of butter, which is 4 tablespoons, aka a fourth a cup, and we're going to dump that right into that milk that we just heated up. Then we're going to add in a third a cup of sugar to this mixture. We're going to whisk that together until it is dissolved. We're going to add a teaspoon of salt and 2 teaspoons of instant yeast. I'm using this one right here. Now we're going to whisk this together and let this bloom. And we're going to make an egg replacer. Now you can use this. I use Bob's Red Mill egg replacer, or you can do a flax egg. I like to do flax eggs also. Depends on my mood. And that is, we're doing enough for 1 egg, which means 1 tablespoon of the mix and 2 tablespoons of water. And we're going to mix that up and then let that set and thicken. Your egg mixture should be nice and thick. We are going to put that in with our wet ingredients. Go ahead and mix that in till it is well combined. And now we're going to add our sourdough discard. We're adding a whole cup of discard here. Room temperature is preferred. Now whisk that all together until combined. Look at this. It's beautiful how it's just coming to life in there. Now we're going to take this mixture to our stand mixer. You can mix this by hand. The next step is to add our flour. And like I said, you can mix it by hand, or you can actually just make this in your stand mixer. I made it in here for easy to watch purposes. Add 3 cups of bread flour into here, and then we'll add our liquid. Make sure these cups are scooped with a spoon into the cup and measured out level. And we're going to put the dough hook attachment on here and turn it on to a low speed. We're going to mix this for a couple of minutes on low and then turn it up as it gets mixed in there. We're going to mix this for about 7 minutes. Right, after the time is up, your dough should look something like this. It should be not tacky or sticky. Kind of feels like Play-Doh. We're going to get our hands in here, roll it into a ball. You can grease the sides if you want to. I'm not going to do that. And then we're going to cover it and let it sit and rise for 2 hours. In the meantime, you're going to want to soften a stick of butter, half a stick of butter, and 8 ounces of vegan cream cheese. I know, that's a lot of butter, and that's a lot of cream cheese, but trust the process. So we are going to add a half a cup of packed brown sugar. And I'm actually using a Truvia brown sugar blend for this because that's what I got. And, whoops, we're going to use a fourth a cup of butter. Don't mind me. There we go. Which is 4 tablespoons. We're going to add a tablespoon of cinnamon. This is the one I'm using. We're going to use a pinch of salt and like an 1/8 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm going to use a fork to get this to come together. And it's going to look something like that. As you can see, it is like a very wet, almost like a wet sand is what we're looking for. All right, and we just put this on a floured surface, and we are going to get our rolling pin and roll this baby out. Now this part is really personal preference, how thin you want to roll this out, how many cinnamon rolls you want to make. I am just going to basically fill this heart pan with cinnamon rolls, but they are going to get bigger because after we roll them out and fill them and cut them and roll them, we're going to put them in our pan that we intend to cook them in and let them rise even more. All right, and this looks good for me. That is how thick I've made it. Now I'm going to spread our sugar, butter, cinnamon mixture on top here. Try to keep it in the middle. All right, just like that. Now we're gonna roll this up into a log and we're gonna slice it into cinnamon rolls. So when you do this, you really wanna roll it pretty tight here and just keep going like this all the way down. All right, now we're gonna slice them. This is the part where you really wanna be mindful of how many cinnamon rolls you're going to need. I'm going for about 9. All right, and we got our cinnamon rolls cut. They look so cute. Now you need to grease whatever baking dish you're going to need. I was hoping they would all fit in here, but now I'm feeling kind of skeptical because I've got these 2 little nubs and then I've got 10 cinnamon rolls. This one was a little too chunky, so I cut it in half. So I think it's going to be too many, but we will see. I'm going to grease this. You could use more butter, which is what I'm going to do, or you could do oil, coconut oil, whatever have you. I don't know how I did it, guys. Magic, probably. But I fit all of them in here. So now I'm going to cover this with a damp towel. I'm actually going to use a damp paper towel because that's my go-to for this. And I'm going to let this sit for another 2 hours. I know it's torture, but honestly, my not sourdough discard cinnamon rolls that I make, my normal cinnamon rolls I make, that is like an all-day process. So another 2 hours is not going to hurt. Plus, that'll give us time to make our frosting, which I am going to be making a cream cheese frosting for this. Guys, we've let our cinnamon rolls rise again to really fill out this pan. We are going to pop them in the oven now. In you go, my beautiful cinnamon rolls. And we're going to bake that for 25 minutes, and then we will check on it. Cinnamon rolls are baking. We are going to work on our cream cheese frosting. So you're going to want the paddle attachment to your mixer. You could also use a hand mixer for this. We added 3 cups of powdered sugar into here, but it's I'm using a Truvia powdered sugar for this. Then we're going to put in a whole stick of softened butter and 8 ounces of softened cream cheese. I'm using the Violife brand. 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and just a pinch of salt. Now we're going to mix this up on a low speed and then slowly speed it up as it starts to become incorporated. There is our cream cheese frosting. Now, if you want to get this even fluffier, you could switch to the whisk attachment for your stand mixer and whisk it up to get it even fluffier. And if you use the whisk to whip it up, this is what you are gonna look like. Figured I would do this just for science. I'm going to cover this and pop it in the fridge because I want this to chill until I am ready to frost the cinnamon rolls, because we don't want to frost them when they're hot. My goodness. Oh my. Yes. I think they might be ready. So about 10 minutes in, I realized that the vessel I had chosen for my cinnamon rolls was not quite large enough. But that's okay. I put a silicone mat down in the bottom to prevent it from getting all over the bottom of my oven. And these look beautiful, guys. They went crazy. They were like, I need to get out of here. So we're going to let these bad boys cool, and then after they've cooled, we will frost them, and they will be ready to enjoy. There she is, guys. In all of her glory. Even after sitting in the fridge for 6 hours, the frosting is still really whippy and light and fluffy. And you can have it with frosting or without. I actually prefer it without frosting. Enjoy.